Then welcome to you guys. Thank you guys for being here. This channel, if you are finding it for the first time, if you've been struggling with your trading, what we teach here is going to change the way that you guys trade in the stock market. If you've never seen it before, it's like nothing you've ever seen. There's no chart memorizations or chart pattern memorizations. We're going to go through this, and it really is as simple as 1, 2, 3. And if you are new, please feel free to go check out the channel because I've got learning tools to help you guys out right from beginners to more advanced stuff. I've got a beginners tools playlist. I've got a learning tools playlist. I go over multiple strategies within this strategy itself. So make sure you go check that out. I've got over 100 videos for you guys to dive into, okay? Learning tool videos outside of the daily watch lists that I do every single day, and that's what this is. This is our watch list for Monday, March 13th. I put these videos out for you guys for free every single day. So if you do end up enjoying it and like what I do, please make sure you subscribe and click that bell. That bell will send out the notifications for when I do send these videos out, for when we do go live, and when I do send out additional learning tools. I'm on Twitter. You can find me there. I also want to talk about the screen that you see right here. So this screen is TradingView. If you don't have something like this, then you can go into the link in the description below and you can get a free 30-day trial to TradingView. And then if you decide to use TradingView after those 30 days, you get up to $30 off of your subscription. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of that. I also have a Discord. You guys can join that. That's in the link in the description below. It's free to join. There's multiple rooms that are in there that are free, and then there are other rooms that are private, part of the paid membership. So let's get started on this list. It's not a long one. We're going to go through this one, and then probably about 4:15, 4:30 Eastern, we're going to go through the weekly watch list, okay? So the first one we've got on the list is BA. That's Boeing. Boeing had a 2 down that finished green. So you notice these candlestick numbers here. If you guys are new, that's part of the indicator I created for you guys. This time frame continuity indicator, which is super important when we're using this strategy or trading in general, it's really important. But this is also part of my indicator that I created, as are the white outside bars and the yellow inside bars. But this is a 2 down. It's a 2 candle. You can see the 2 right here. A 2 candle is a directional candle, so it only breaks the low or it only breaks the high of the previous candle. So we have a 2 down, and normally these would be red, but when they finish green, that gives me probability that this may trend back up. And you'll hear me mention a lot, again, if you're new, you'll hear me mention a lot about probability. And the reason I talk about probability is because every trade, every strategy, whether it's this strategy or something different, everything you guys look at is based off of probability. And if someone else tells you different, then they're lying to you, because no one knows, when this day opens, no one knows what this next candle is going to do. It could go 2 down. It could be a 2 up. It could stay inside. Nobody knows. What's up, Chris? Nobody knows what the next candle is going to be. So everything we do is based off of probability. Now, when that goes against you, when probability goes against you and the candlestick goes against you after you're in the trade, then it comes down to risk management, because anybody who jumps into a trade, anybody can. You could pick a kid off the street, and any kid could click that buy button and be right 50% of the time. But when the trade goes against them, what are they doing to protect their capital? And that's what really makes a good trader, is their risk management. Any strategy can work for any single person, but it really comes down to risk management when the trade doesn't go in your favor. So with Boeing here, we have this 2 down, finish green. We look for calls, or you can buy common shares at 205, and then the first target is at 209.02. Now, time frame continuity looks really good, meaning we have buyers on the year, the quarterly, the monthly, the Friday that we just closed, and the hourly chart as well that just closed. But here's the thing, when we open up on Monday, this is going to be a new candle, the hourly, the daily is going to be a new candle, and the weekly is going to be a new candle. So if we trend up, we're going to have full time frame continuity back to the upside. So if that happens, it's a high probability trade. Now, I've talked about high probability trades a lot recently, and to a lot of different people throughout the week. And meaning you don't have to trade every day. Like, if you guys just want high probability trades, trade full time frame continuity, trade a hammer candle that's a 2 down green or a shooter candle that's a 2 down red. You don't have to trade every single day. Don't feel like you have to. I don't trade every single day. If there's nothing there, I don't do it. So trade what you guys are comfortable trading with, okay? So 2 down green on BA. We'll look for those calls at 205. First targets at 2902. Set your triggers and targets on the higher time frame. Go manage this trade on a smaller time frame. It could be the hourly, the 30, the 15. I like the 5. Some people tell me that's too small, but that's risk management. And my job as a trader and your job as a trader is to protect your capital. And I feel like the 5-minute chart protects my capital the most. I might not get big 200-300% wins, but I'm getting 20-30% wins, and that's enough for me. And I know if I'm losing 10 or 15% based on the candle reversals or coming out through the targets, versus going down to a 30-minute chart where that candle is a lot bigger and it's a lot more time for it to reverse on that candlestick. So that's a setup on BA. That's my rant. We'll move on to CL. That's Colgate Palmolive. So we have an inside bar. It's actually a 3-1 setup. So we have this outside bar, inside bar. It's painted gold. That's part of the indicator. So you guys can buy this indicator. That link is in the description below. Or it comes with the Griswold Gold membership, which is $50 a month. Or you buy 2 months, you get a month free. And it includes the indicator. It includes one-on-ones with myself through Google Meets or Zoom. It includes the top 5 from this list every single day. Live trading bots on ticker symbols like SPY, QQQ, Disney. It sends out live trades throughout the day so you guys don't have to go looking for them. And a bunch of other stuff is in there, okay? But everything that it includes is located in the Discord, so you can find all that information there. This 3-1 setup, guys, let's go back and look in time, because the 3-1 setup is very, very rare. Doesn't happen very often, and it tends to be very powerful. So here, this one didn't work out. It ended up being a double inside bar. So let's go further back, and we find that gold pattern, and this is exactly, and again, I like to go back because it doesn't always happen this way, guys. It's probability based. We have this 3-1 setup, this golden bar setup, and we look for it to trigger here, and we look for it to hit targets here and here, okay? Which it did. It hit 2 targets, and then it continued down the next day. This is a prime setup. This is what we look for off of those 3-1 setups. A big, big move, and that's what we got. So we opened, we came down, we triggered, we hit targets. A really, really good trade. Does it always happen that way? It does not. But probability tells us, and the majority of time, it happens that way. Okay, so I want to just discuss the inside bars a little bit, because that's essentially what we're playing, are the inside bars. So we look at the outside bars, and it breaks. It's a 3-bar. It's called a 3-bar. It breaks the high and the low of the previous candle. Outside bar went outside. Inside bar is the exact opposite. It doesn't break the high or the low of the previous candle. It stays within the range. And so when I first started really becoming successful at trading options, trading in general, it was because of this inside bar. And that's where I really started making money, is because I concentrated on playing these inside bars. And if you're struggling or you're new, I tell people to focus on one thing. And if you can focus on those inside bars, then it's a really good opportunity. They're easy to spot, especially with the indicator. And you take the high or the low. And in this instance, we have full time frame continuity to the downside. I would be expecting this, or the better trade would be for it to trend down. If it doesn't, if it trends up, well, we still have the hourly, the daily, and the weekly in our direction to the upside. But this is a higher probability trade if we trend down. And the thing about inside bars, guys, is you saw in that play we looked at a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, on that 3-1 setup on this same ticker, this inside bar, when you guys see that yellow bar, you should think of it as being a spring, being compacted, tightened, loaded, squished down, and looking for a release. And when that force is taken off of either end, we look for that big explosion to the upside or the downside. And you can look at it as a jack in the box. The other thing I like to point out to you guys is, if you guys know anything about broadening formations, or a little bit about broadening formations, this basically is some people call this a flag. Remember I was talking about those patterns? You don't need to know those patterns. You don't need to know these patterns. But this is basically what you would call a flag. Or an inverse broadening formation is what I like to call them. But you see there's no room here in between these two lines. It's looking for a big breakout, and that's what we look for off of those inside bars. We look for those breakouts. So that's what we'll look for on Colgate, full time frame continuity, 3-1 setup. And we move on to CVS. So CVS has been on a downward spiral all year. I've talked about it all year. And now we have this inside bar. Okay, so let's put the targets on there for you guys. You can do it with me. There's target 1. And we're going to change the color to green because my targets are always in green. And then we're going to put another target at the top of the preceding wicks because that's how we do it. So this is an inside bar. There's 3 actionable signals. Cyberdog, Jermaine, Strat Soldier likes to play the actionable signal. So it could be a shooter candle, which is this. So a shooter candle has this body and then a wick to the top side that's at least 2 times the size of the body. And then a hammer candle is just the opposite right here. Hammer candle, here's the body. The wick is 2 times the size of the body. So those are the 3 actionable signals when we're talking about this stuff. It's inside bars, shooter candles, and hammer candles. So hammer candles are a bullish pattern. You can see how it trended up. Shooter candles are a bearish pattern. So we have an inside bar and a shooter candle. We've got fantastic time frame continuity on this. This is a really, really nice setup for us. So CVS has this inside bar. We look for the break to the high or the low side. Calls at 78.16. Puts at 76.87. The first target marked out. And again, if you're looking for those prime setups, that's what all you're looking for. Well, this is one of those, okay? We have the shooter, we have the inside bar, and we have time frame continuity in our favor to the downside. So this is something I would be looking at. And again, if you guys have questions, feel free to leave them in the chat, the live room, the chat while you guys are here. Or if you are watching the replay of this, leave them in the comment section. Get a hold of me on Twitter, at Mr. Clark Griswold. I'll answer them there. Or in the Discord. You can ask them in the Discord. Like I said, it's free to join. But there is a paid portion of it that gets you a bunch of extra stuff. General Electric, same idea, okay? So we have this inside bar. It's not quite the same idea. It's pretty close, though. Inside bar and another shooter candle. Okay, so the issue we have here... Now, I want to point one thing out. Remember I said those shooter candles are bearish. Probability, guys. It doesn't always happen. Here it is. It's a shooter candle. It's a bearish setup. But it didn't trend down. Okay, we do have some gaps to fill here. And the conflict is here that we've got time frame continuity pointing to the upside versus some pointing to the downside. So calls at 94.20, puts at 90.79. This is a red candle, so I would look for this to trend down. And if it does, we'll have the hourly, the daily, and the weekly. And I always tell you guys, when I trade, I only need these first 2 because my trades, realistically, I'm not in a trade for more than an hour. I like to get in, I like to get out. So if I have at least these 2, I'm okay with that. The less I have on at this end, on the weekly and monthly, the lesser of a probability that trade is. But the more that I have in that direction is a higher probability. So if it trends down, I will have these 3. Okay? And if it trends up, well, I've got the whole kit and caboodle. That's what we call full time frame continuity, FTFC. Otherwise, it's just time frame continuity, okay? So that's the setup on GE. And there's not a lot of plays here, guys, today. So we're getting close to the end. Here's another one on Pfizer. So Pfizer is a 2 down. It finished green. I put this one on here for 2 reasons. So number 1, it's a shooter candle. It's a bearish pattern. It becomes less bearish if this candle is green, but it's still a bearish pattern. The other reason I have Pfizer on here is because of this. The yearly, the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly. We've been red all year on this thing. This is another one. CVS and Pfizer. I've talked about them all year in their downtrends. And you go back and look, it's just a continuous downward spiral on CVS. So, when I'm looking at this play, and I see a shooter candle there, and I see my time frame continuity all to the downside, to me, if this trends to the downside, it's a really good setup for me. So I can take puts here at 39.23. If you're trading common shares, guys, do not short this stuff unless you know what you're doing. Most people don't, so I would not short anything. I would take put options, but I wouldn't be shorting common shares, okay? Common shares are just actually the shares that you would normally purchase for, you know, 39.23 or whatever the price is at, okay? And then our first target is at 38.93. So, and the other thing I tell you guys, if these daily charts don't work for you guys, it's very easy for you guys just to hop down to the 15, okay? Or hop down to the 30. And when you do that, you do the same thing. Set your triggers and your targets. Like this inside bar, you could have set your triggers to the high and low, and then your target to the downside, and you had a win here, okay? You had a win right here. If the daily charts don't work for you, hop down to a smaller time frame, the hourly, the 30, the 15. Manage that trade on a smaller time frame though, okay? So that's Pfizer. We're going to move on to Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble with another 3-1 setup. So we've talked about we've talked about these 3-1s already, the powerfulness of them, the rarity of them. So calls at 137.99. First target marked out there for you guys at the top, and then puts at 136.35. First target marked out to the bottom on Procter & Gamble. And I think that's the last one, guys. Like I said, there's not a lot here. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're wanting to know what I'm giving for the Griswold Gold members, I'll probably give them a top 3 out of these, but there's your top 6 for Monday. There wasn't a lot of setups. I do want to tell you guys, if you do have questions, hop back on at, what time are we at here? 1:30, 3:30. Hop back on at 4:15 Eastern. We'll go through the weekly swings. Save your questions for there, and we'll go through them. Or you can just put them in the comment section, ask me on Twitter, or ask me in the Discord. That's it for the daily video, guys. Stay tuned, like I said, for the weekly swing. It'll be out real soon. 4:15 Eastern, we'll go live with it. But thank you, guys. Good luck trading on Monday, and we will see you all on the next one.